In Henry VIII's England, the head of a traitor went through 3 horrifying stages. Stage 1. First came the execution, usually by axe. It was a gruesome process, often botched, as it sometimes took several blows to complete the beheading. Margaret Pole's execution, for example, reportedly required 11 strikes before the deed was done. Once the head was severed, the executioner would hold it aloft for the crowd to see, a ritual meant to inspire fear and loyalty. Nobles were fortunate to receive beheading, but commoners faced a far worse fate: hanging, drawing, and quartering. In that punishment, the victim was hanged until near death, disemboweled while still alive, their organs burned before their eyes, and finally their bodies cut into quarters. Under Henry VIII, executions were very common. People were put to death for treason, heresy, or any perceived defiance of the king's authority, which could mean almost anything he chose. Refusing to recognize him as head of the church, as Thomas More did, failing to give him a male heir, like Anne Boleyn, plotting against him, real or imagined, or simply falling out of favor could all lead to death. In Henry's reign, loyalty was never enough. Suspicion alone could be fatal. But few people talk about what happened after the beheading. Stage 2. Once severed, the head was often trimmed, the hair cut short, and then placed in a large cauldron of boiling water mixed with pitch or tar. This process helped preserve the head and slow decay. Some accounts mention that salt or spices were added to mask the stench, though the odor remained unbearable. The boiling sealed the skin, turning it dark and leathery. The eyes clouded, the face stiffened, and the air filled with the sickly smell of tar and flesh. But even this still wasn't the end. Stage 3. After cooling, the head was impaled on an iron spike, usually driven through the base of the skull to keep it upright. It was then taken for a public display, most famously to London Bridge. At times, 20 or 30 heads could be seen there, blackened and shriveled from boiling in tar. The heads might remain for weeks or even months. Over time, they darkened, tightened, and distorted grotesquely. In winter, they mummified. In summer, they liquefied, dripping foul fluids down the poles. Chroniclers wrote of a black rain that sometimes fell from the bridge during warm weather. Birds and insects feasted on the remains until little more than bone and skin were left. Disturbingly, people in Tudor England became quite used to it. The stench was overwhelming. Tar, blood, and rot mingled in the air. The wind could carry it across the river, and some Londoners avoided those areas entirely, though many grew indifferent. Families of the executed sometimes bribed guards to recover their loved ones' heads secretly at night for proper burial. Public executions and displays of heads were so common that they became part of everyday life. Londoners crossing London Bridge would pass beneath rows of blackened heads without much reaction, like walking past grim statues. Children saw them, merchants passed them, lovers met beneath them. For travelers entering London, the sight of rotting heads above the city gates was both unforgettable and instructive. Treason had visible, enduring consequences. As gruesome as it was, this practice served a clear political purpose. It reminded everyone of the king's absolute power. It reinforced loyalty and discouraged rebellion. It turned death into a public warning and a spectacle. Henry's second wife, Anne Boleyn, was made an example of, beheaded for treason. But what happened to her head afterward will shock you. Click here to uncover the chilling truth.